Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Security Happy Hour. It is me, Cyber Warrior, and you're right here on CyberWarriorStudios. And with me today, I have, as always, my partner in crime, my friend, the founder of Raices, Eric Bellardo, otherwise known as
How's everybody doing?
Cyber Poppy, depending on who you are. And joining us today, someone actually, we had a very interesting conversation a couple weeks back, so I do want to touch on that, Marcus, but I have Cyber Reverend Marcus Bowie down here below, and we're going to be talking about all things blue team training, Q&A, you name it. We're going to go over it all. But before we get started, part of today's stream and most streams that I do, most of the shows, we talk a little bit about your journey into cybersecurity and how you got here. So without taking up the entire hour, because I'm sure you could as well as I could and Eric could and everybody else, just talking about how we got into cybersecurity, give us a rundown real brief on, really what brought you to the field. And, was it more of a lifelong goal? Was it you discovered it later on in life? Like how you ended up getting here?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to thank y'all for having me on this thing. And yeah, I can't wait to touch on that conversation that we had a few weeks back. And I count this as organic opportunity, meaning it wasn't an overreach. It just was a connection. And so I'm happy to be here on your platform. And without further ado, how I got into cyber was pretty interesting. And a lot of people, most people get in the traditional way. They go to college, they get the degrees, they got the certs, and they work their way up the chain, or at least apply, and somebody will pick them on. This particular incident, I had a gentleman, I was working help desk as a team lead overnight. And for some reason that day I had to stay over late after my shift to put some chairs together for my new team. A gentleman walked in the skiff, and you guys been in skiffs probably. Y'all know you can't bring a phone in the skiff. This gentleman, I don't know who he was. He had a suit on, and he had a BlackBerry in his hand. And that's a no-no. However, he must have been a big wig to an extent, because somebody asked me, can I assist him with a BlackBerry issue? And, we just create tickets and send it to the team. And what I did was I did customer service. I was already off shift. I pushed somebody off their machine and asked, can I write a ticket? I wrote a ticket up, high priority, called over to the team, ended up getting somebody I know, and told him to help this guy. Don't know the guy, never talked to him before. And after I gave the phone to him, I forgot about the conversation. Went back to doing chairs, and I guess the conversation took about 5 minutes. Right after he came over, hey man, I just want to thank you. You're the best, and I want to thank you. And he's trying to tell me what's wrong with his BlackBerry, but you know how you brush people off. You really don't care about the conversation. Hey man, hey, no problem, no sweat. This gentleman said, look, man, if you need anything from Diplomat Security, let me know. And in my brain, I said, Diplomat Security, oh, that's the cyber team. And then he said, by the way, I'm the division branch chief. And so when he said that, my eyes lit up, and I said, well, hey, let's go outside and have a conversation.
Let's go talk real quick.
So we went outside. And I told him, I said, look, I'm hearing about cybersecurity. This is 2014, by the way, November to be exact. And I said, I've been hearing about cybersecurity. I want to get involved. I feel like it's something I can do. I feel like I can excel in it. And he said, give me a resume. This was on a Friday morning. He said, give me a resume. 3 weeks later, I was hired. No certs, no degrees. I'm sitting in a SOC analyst seat doing SOC analyst work just by using my customer service. And so the tip is out there, if you're on the help desk, listen, that ain't the place to be shy. If you're on the help desk working somewhere, use your customer service to get to the connections you need to get to. And this individual, by the snap of his fingers, I was hired. And from there, that's how I got into the field. And then from there, I just catapulted into other areas.
And see, it's funny.
Go
ahead, Eric.
That's what I always say. I said networking is a vital skill. being able to talk to people, being able to say, listen, this is what I want to do.
Right.
What can I do to get to the next level? And
Right.
you'll see that people will help you.
They will help. They will help. And if I didn't have good customer service, or if I wasn't able to get, I use this rule and I tell all my students this. There's a rule that I use once you get on the job. It's called get out of your seat. All right. You come in there with your hoodie on and you just don't want to talk to nobody. This ain't the place for that. You can be an introvert at home. Don't be like, I got hoodies. You want to be an introvert at home? Leave that at home. You got issues? Leave that outside the door. If you're trying to make it big in this field, you need people. And I don't care, what background you got or where you come from, what side of the tracks you come from. You need people in this field. And that's one thing that I learned, and I stand by. I stand by that.
Yeah, and that's definitely it, because on this show we talk about how we always touch on how someone got into this particular field. And I always relate it to one of the things I did back when I was first starting this show early last year. What impressed me most was going through OSCP and talking to this guy, and we really clicked. We hit it off. We started talking in BS and everything else. And he couldn't land a job. Now, mind you, I'm someone that's been in the field for a while, but I knew how I got my positions.
Right.
It was never, except for the very first one, was based on interview and degree and certifications. No other job after that was based on.
Right.
It was based on knowing people. So the second job I got was I had already linked up with the director. I had already linked up with the director of the particular company I was going to. And so when I did the first two interviews, he's like, I don't even need to talk to him. He's got the job.
Listen.
And so networking, and this is why I put so much emphasis on who you know.
Right.
Because the gentleman that I was helping to get a job reached out to me, and he was like, hey, if I've applied to SpaceX so many times, and I can't seem to get a call back. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
He was like, but I found their security manager and these people on LinkedIn. Should I reach out to them? I said, why haven't you yet?
Why not?
I said, but here's the thing, and this is what I tell everybody. You don't message someone out the gate and be like, hey, man, I applied and I haven't heard back. Can you tell me why? No.
Hey.
You develop that rapport. You build that relationship, because no one's going to help you just because you said, hey, what happened? They're going to help you because they know you. And he ended up getting a job with SpaceX because he developed that relationship. Right. And the guy finally was like, look, apply again. I'll pull your resume and take a look at it. So that got him through that HR barrier that we talk about all the damn time.
Yeah.
It was, you might not be meeting some criteria, but I'm going to take a chance and actually look at what may be missing and evaluate what you've done. And that is what helped him get in there. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is you need to network.
And there's another tip I learned. And I didn't know I was doing this until I joined this cloud class called Mandaleo Lab. It is a private cloud and Python Linux class where I'm learning how to do Python from scratch, then learning how to build infrastructure in AWS. And it's a private class. I've been doing it for about a year and some months now. But there's something called a digital footprint. Along with networking, the biggest issue is that people are trying to reach out to recruiters and stuff like that. I have 2 positions right now that I got from LinkedIn, and it wasn't from me reaching out to recruiters. It was me putting my skills on display. Everybody got the Security Plus. Everybody got all these top brand certs, but what makes you stand out from the middleman down the street? It's that digital footprint, putting your skills on display. Whether it's you posting a picture of your lab, posting a picture of, or putting a tutorial up, or a YouTube channel, or some type of blog, something of that nature, which creates your digital footprint, so that when recruiters do look at your resume, I know this 9 times out of 10, they're gonna check LinkedIn first. If they want to see your post,
I do it now. My boss reached out to me and said, "Hey, did you see this resume?
You see this resume, right?"
And I'm like, hold up, give me a second. Let me see if we're connected. Because I connect to everybody. I always accept my connections. And I'm like, let me look. We ain't connected. Let's see what he has on there.
See what he got. And that right there alone.
Shit. I got nothing here.
And it's not also what you post, it's when you post.
Yeah.
I post Friday and Saturday night if I'm looking for something. You want to know why? Because the recruiters had a long week. They've been going through crap resumes all week, and they haven't found their match. It's when you post on a Friday and Saturday night what people are doing. They either sleep, partying, they either at a movie. Nobody's on LinkedIn. So when I post on a Friday and Saturday night, guess who sees that? The recruiter who just so happened to be looking for that particular skill on that particular RFP job posting, job description. And then guess what? Now all of a sudden you got to follow, or you got somebody adding you as a friend, and then in your slide in your DM saying, hey, I got a security engineering role. Are you ready for it? You know what I'm saying? So those things happen all the time for me. That's just a tip that I want to throw along with networking. That is a tip I want to know. And I don't want to cut you off, but you did say something yesterday on Davin Jackson's show.
Davin Jackson's.
Infosec Unplugged, where you said, don't be a jerk. Listen, this is a small field. Don't be a jerk. You can lose a job before you even get it. And there are people right now that are submitting resumes, and they already know your background history from working at McDonald's. You don't know who knows who. You know what I'm saying? So if you're nice to people online, maybe you have a faster chance of getting a gig. That was something I wanted to make sure I wrote that down.
So let me correct you. I don't hold my tongue. I said don't be an asshole. So I will.
Okay.
I will.
Well,
that statement. just so it's true to form of who I am. I don't need you to make me sound good. I know.
That's my language. No, be yourself. That's just my language. That's my language. Be yourself.
So, we've got the Reverend in the room.
Look, be yourself. The worst thing that a believer can do is put their standard on somebody who haven't gotten that standard. So be yourself. Listen,
and that's what it's all about. And here's the thing. And this is, and again, going back to, I'm gonna plug it again. Infosec Unplugged on Davin Jackson's channel.
Right.
It came down to when people talk about being anonymous and hiding who they are and being trolls and thinking nobody's going to know who they are. Man, I know people that can literally take an account and dig 10 layers deep, sometimes 30, and tell you exactly who they are. Right. So they may have registered it through a fake IP, going through 10 VPNs and proxies and a fake name and a fake country. Like, they could have done all this, and it's an exaggeration, so don't freaking harass me over my exaggeration. Right. But they could have done all this, but there's still going to be someone out there that knows who you are, that can find out who you are.
Find out who you are.
When you come out online and you're like, oh, I'm behind a keyboard, I'm anonymous, or I can say whatever the hell I want. Let me tell you right now, there is someone out there that is going to find you, and you're going to say the wrong thing because you're going to feel like you're still behind a keyboard when you're not.
Right.
And if I can't trust you online, how can I trust you to talk to clients or trust you to talk to the team in a respectful manner? And that's really what it comes down to, is respecting each other. And if you're not going to respect someone online, it goes along the same lines of, you look at people and how they treat their pets. Not anything else. You look at how they treat their pets, because a pet is technically an animal that is below you. So how you treat those below you is how you're going to treat everybody else. And that is what matters. Not how you treat your parents or your superiors, how you treat those below you.
Right.
So you look at how someone treats their pet, and that's how they're going to be whenever they come on your team.
So what does it mean, the way that I treat you?
Oh, dude, that's just a friendly military relationship. Come on now. Look, damn well in the Army we treat each other by saying, "What's up, fucker?" All right, it is gender neutral, and it works for everybody.
Hey,
all of you in the chat need to type #behave.
I don't know how to.
Hey, look. On that note, there's something I learned from one of my sponsors, mentors. He said, if you address people by your differences, you'll never be equal.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so that along with looking down on, treat the cleanup person the same way you would treat the CEO.
Yep.
Amen.
That's the tip. That's the keys to the kingdom. You'll get the key to the city if you can grasp that concept of treating everybody the same, even kill.
On that note, John J. Hacking and I can't remember who else it was, but they were going to DEF CON in Black Hat, and this was a few years back. It's actually how they landed their job. They were going for an interview. And I watched their story. I watched how this, when they told it, how it unfolded.
Yeah.
There was a guy that looked homeless sitting outside the hotel. No computer, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, they stopped and actually talked to him and said, what's going on, this and the other. He goes, I want to learn how to hack and do all these things, but I can't afford to get in, blah, blah, blah. They took him inside and taught him how to do what they do.
Nice.
That was basically the interview, because the guy they helped was the CEO and the interviewer for what they were doing. And I was like, that is how you get a job. You treat people exactly how you would want to be treated.
Right.
Like, and again, this isn't the military. So when the military is a completely different can of worms, right? We say things that you would never say to anybody as a normal everyday greeting.
Yes.
But when you're out of the military, you treat everybody how you want to be treated. Right. And some companies are going to appreciate that. Others still want you to have this hierarchy of, they're below you, you don't do this. And the way I operate is, if you're doing a job, I should know how to do that job, and I should do that job with you. As a leader, I should be able to do that job with you. So if it requires extra manpower and extra hours, I should be right there with you, putting in the extra hours. Yes,
indeed. That is the key. That is definitely the key. And we've seen it all the time. And I'm not in the military. I do get mistaken for being in the military or police. I guess because it's my bail. And sometimes I go to Mission Barbecue and they try to give me a free sandwich. Oh, what you got, man? Oh, Army. Okay. All right. But I didn't understand that concept until working with military people.
Yeah, it is. And I don't want to break away from this. It's a very important conversation. I think it is very vital to how you can make it in the field. But I do want to stress a little bit more on, talk a little bit on blue team and kind of what your job is now and what you're doing as a blue teamer, because we all know the field is vast. Even blue team alone has different niches and specialties that you can get into. So as a blue teamer, what was your first, are you still at that first field of blue team, that first subdivision of blue team? Like, are you still doing the same job, or have you kind of migrated through the years?
Well, I don't mean to boast, but let me just go ahead and just break it down. I am a cybersecurity engineer, 9 to 5. My primary task is malware analysis.
Mm-hmm.
But I am tasked to do other engineering tasks. I just got that job last year.
Okay.
I'm also a forensic SME, part-time.
Lucky.
To keep my forensics skills up. And shout out to the ETD team, which is Endpoint Threat Detection team from CBP. If it wasn't for that team, I wouldn't be where I'm at now, skill-wise.
Right.
So I have 9 to 5 security engineering job. I have forensics SME part-time, off hours, any hours I want, by the way. Then I have my own company, Max Prod Technologies. We do security operations. So I have a SOC contract with two positions as a floater, Tier 1 SOC, Tier 2 incident response. I have a somewhat security engineering contract doing installs every once in a while. And I have 1, 2, 3. Those are about it. And I do workforce development. So I teach a class called the SOC experience. And it's pretty much what you said. Show them what you know. And that's what that class is. So I'm leaps and bounds from where I started. I started at tier 1 SOC, and then I went to tier 1 SOC again. And then from there I went to tier 3 SOC, and then from there I went to watch. And then from there I'm an engineer, and now I have my own company. I did that. This is my 6th year in cyber. And I don't mean to, talk about that, but this is my 6th year in cyber in December, once December ends. And it's been somebody asked about work-life balance. Yes, I do have work-life balance because all of the other gigs are part-time. And what I would normally do on a Friday night or a Saturday night or a Thursday night, I replaced that with the work. So that's that it's just and another thing, I don't have a TV in the house. When I was single, I took the TV away, and I saw that how productive I was because I didn't have a TV. I know that kills some people because you got to watch the game or the news or whatever, but when I didn't plug that TV in, I was so much productive. And so now on this side of the field, I have a TV. I don't have a TV, and I'm twice as productive as I was before.
When I was single or even in college, I used my TV as a monitor.
Yes, I have the flat screen TV.
I didn't have the monitor setup I do now. I couldn't afford it. I had my bigger TV and a little monitor, and I had 2 computers at the time. So I set my one TV up as a monitor. Mind you, it usually was playing Netflix or something. So again, it was still being used as a TV.
Yes. Yeah.
But I still did a lot of work on there. And but you're right. I watch TV or shows to get away, right? Mm-hmm. It's my escape. I'll read books to escape. And it is only because you may or may not have hit it yet. I don't know, beyond all the things you're doing now for cybersecurity and helping the community and developing your skills and everything else like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what your escapes are. And when I was first trying to break into the field, and even when I first got into the field, my escape was learning to code, was doing all these different things and building labs and doing hack the box and all that stuff. That was my escape. I could hide behind the code and hide behind the screen. Work didn't matter. Nothing mattered. It was just developing who I am.
Right.
And that's how I got to where I am. Now, mind you, these days at 34 years old with a wife and 5 kids, I can't do that no more.
We're the same age.
So, it's one of those things where we kind of find that. Yeah. But I still find this show and my channel, as much work as it is, it's an escape to me because it allows me to talk to others. It allows me to help others. And it allows me to bring to light some of the things that we don't always talk about or we're afraid to talk about.
Right.
And that is why I don't ever want people to be afraid when they come here. Like, I've had too many people ask me, like, oh, do I need to prepare? Do I need to do this? No, man, just fucking show the fuck up, drink a beer, and let's have a good time.
Be yourself. And if you're me, a Nantucket peach orange.
There
you know what
go.
I'm saying?
There you go. So what is that trophy?
You asked about what's my escape. My escape is chess. I won a chess.
I love it.
I won a chess tournament last year, and I'm playing again this year.
Nice.
And I play chess to solve problems. So if I'm on a
you got to play chess, not checkers.
Yes, everything's a chess game. Everything's a chess game, and I've been playing since I was in kindergarten. So it's my away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It helps me to defrag.
Keeps you engaged.
Keeps me engaged.
But that's the other thing about it. When we talk about escapes, like I said, mine is TV sometimes. Like, I watch like NCIS and all these other shows, and me and my wife will sit down and watch Masked Singer and Alter Ego, and we're watching Chucky right now, the awesome show. So if you like Chucky, great show, I'm loving it. But so we watch these things, but at the same time, if I didn't have a wife and kids, honestly, I'd probably be just like you in that my life would still be behind the screen.
Oh, hold up. I have a wife and kids.
Oh, I believe it. But I would be like you were and me, like how we were before that happened.
Right.
Is how I'd be still to this day.
Yeah.
Get out of my cell and get married and have kids. you would not see me leave this screen. Like it wouldn't happen.
Things change. Things change. The mentality changed, as we talked about before, and I've been fortunate enough to not have to worry about a lot of things on that side. I still have time with my kids. They know there's a set time that they have with me. They know that every day there's a set time with me. Wifey the same way. There's a set time, and so everybody gets a piece. You know what I'm saying, of the pie, and I don't over assert myself on the work side and take away from family side, because family is everything.
And that's the thing, right? You got to find me and Eric talked about this yesterday when it comes to Raices, right? So when it comes to an organization, you find your why. Why are you doing this? What problem are you trying to solve? And and what is your why?
Right.
And for years, my why for cybersecurity was I enjoy it. I love it. It is what I want to do. And I thought that's all it was ever going to be. Right. But it's funny because as I was getting out of the Army, my why changed. Yeah. My why changed to I realized that in the Army, I wasn't helping anybody because I wasn't allowed to do my job. There were a lot of issues in the Army that the reason I got in, I wasn't accomplishing that mission. I wasn't achieving my why I'm here. Right. And so when I got out, I actually started my YouTube channel under Scheller Cybersecurity back in 2017. My very first video was me going out on a tangent for probably a half hour to an hour talking about how shitty the hiring process is and that managers really need to fucking take a better look at themselves.
Is this still up?
It was more of a bitch session, but it was definitely my very first video, and it was how I felt. It was more emotionally charged than logically thought out. And so I did a few videos from there, different things. But then last year, I realized there's not enough content out there that brings those in cybersecurity to the forefront. Maybe those that haven't been able to talk, they haven't been to a conference, they don't have a name, right. Nobody knows who they are. Right. And so my why became, how do I help others? How do I achieve what I've always wanted to achieve, which is help other people?
Right.
And that is where this show started, is because I found it as a way to help others, to get people to come out of their, oh, I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to speak in front of others. Dude, easy. You come on, you have a beer, you relax, and we just bullshit. Like we just talk, we just have a good time. And it gives them that at least first capability to express themselves like they haven't been able to. Right. And so that was my why. And it'll continue to be my why. My why will always be helping others. And so my wife knows. Thursdays, I do Eric's show. Or like yesterday, I did Infosec Unplugged. Friday is Security Happy Hour. My wife helps design all my merchandise. Like right. She is a very big part on helping me accomplish the goals so that as a family, and it's what I want to teach and what I try to instill in my kids, hard work breeds success. Yes. But you got to bring people up with you, right? Yes. And I talked about it on Motivation Monday, like a week or two ago. You got to bring people up with you.
Yes.
And that is the kicker for what you're doing, Cyber Reverend.
Yeah.
I mean, you discussed it, so I do want to talk about it.
Yes, indeed.
Touch on how you are helping others, especially when you employ them, and how they're not necessarily employees per se.
Matchpad Technologies. I keep doing this because the camera. The class is called the SOC Experience, and I know there's a lot of people teaching SOC training out there. Everybody's teaching SOC training. You can get it from anybody. You can get it automated. You can go online and find it. That's great. But for me, I'm looking at the need. I'm not just trying to teach you for 2 or 3 days, even though the class is 2 or 3 days, sometimes 4 days. My job is to find the need. What's the need? People have certs and degrees. People have, they're trying to get into the field. There's 500,000 unmet jobs right now in cybersecurity. and nobody is filling those seats. It's another reason for that, and I want to touch on that a little bit. But the other piece is what? There's no hands-on experience. So what I do is I teach you what I know. I have a lab. I have a home lab. It costs a lot of money. Where my students remote to me. When you remote to me, I give you a machine, a VM. On that VM are some of the industry standard tools that you will use in a SOC. Every SOC needs a SIM. Every SOC needs an EDR. Every SOC needs an AV. Every SOC needs some Active Directory environment, a firewall, and some logs turned on in order to read them. And what I do is I take you from cradle to grave. I get people from the finance team, finance department, teachers, security guards, some military personnel every other week calling or sending me money to take this class that I don't even have to promote. It's a self-licking ice cream cone in a good way. People call, people come take my class, and what they do is they learn what I teach them. They learn what I teach them, and then they put it on their resume as experience. They apply, and some people get it. I have people in the city, in the country taking this class. I got people outside the country taking this class. I'm working on an initiative to do some work with some people from El Salvador, so they can learn this, but in Spanish. Learn the skills that I teach in Spanish. And this is what they use to go on the interviews. Because all of us know 20% of the interviews are what's port 25? What's the MD5 has? That's 20%. But the other 80% is scenario based. All right, you got 5 machines with malware on it. Walk me through your steps on how you will handle that. If you don't know how to walk them through your steps and how you will handle that, then guess what you're going to do? You're going to be dismissed when it's time to pick you for that position. So why not teach them?
I think the way you're doing it, and not to cut you off, but I think that is of vital importance because people put classes on their resume. I took this class. I took this class. I took this class. But with those classes doesn't come a lot of hands-on experience. And that's not to take away, because I'll tell you right now, right up there with what you're doing. And again, this is to take nothing away from what you're doing. This is just hand in hand. Cover 6 Solutions does the exact, you two are probably the 2 top tier companies for getting that hands-on experience and touching the equipment and being able to do it so that you're not putting it on there as a class now.
Right.
You're putting it on there as I have experience with Splunk.
Correct.
With whatever. Like that capability. But the flip side to that is the person knowing that they have to put it on there as I have experience with. These are the technologies I'm familiar with or something like that. Because if you just put I took this class, then
listen,
it don't work that way.
Can I step on that line?
Go ahead.
I'm just go ahead and say it.
Say it.
I've seen resumes, and I'm not a manager. I've seen resumes come into managers. If you've been working in the retail field or the restaurant field or whatever, you put try hack me on there and some certs and that's it. I've seen resumes get thrown out. If you take one class and that's it. No volunteer, no other efforts put in on that resume. I've seen resumes get thrown out. I've seen resumes get laughed at. I've seen resumes get passed because they only put the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So if you are taking TryHackMe or any of those courses, don't put that. Put what you did in TryHackMe, because sometimes they have whiteboard sessions. If you're a tier 3.
So let me give you a little more on that, because I don't know if you know, I've been in the industry for 32 years.
Oh man, amazing. Amazing.
All the way to a CISO, all the way down to engineers, etc. Right. So I think I've brought in thousands of people into the field. resumes to mentorship, all that stuff. So you're hitting it right on the money. The one thing I tell you and tell all the folks is if you put in things like Udemy, all the classes that you do, all the free classes that you do, you want to show a pattern of learning and, like you said, your digital footprint, GitHubs, anything. And we talked about that yesterday. GitHubs, projects, blogs, blog out there. Even if you're blogging about you learning,
right,
it's showing a pattern of learning, which is one of the most important things. One of the first questions that I ask at any interview is trying to find out how you research. I throw a question like, if I gave you this piece of software and I need you to install it by tomorrow and you don't have a manual, how do you figure it out and install it? If they don't tell me, I Googled that shit, or I go to YouTube
University,
you're out of here.
And that's the big thing, though, right? Because it's about being able to research. And if you can't, look, if Stack Overflow, if you're getting into a developer's field or DevSecOps or DevOps and you don't know the answer and you don't know Stack Overflow, or you don't mention, look, I don't know how to find the answer, but between GitHub, Stack Overflow, and Google, I'll find the damn answer.
Yeah.
Then why? Because now you're not showing that you know how to research, how you to find the answer. And look, I will be the first one to admit, I do take the easy way sometimes. My boss will be like, hey, do this. I'll be like, hey, so where's this at? Because I know he has the tribal knowledge. And he'll be like, did you look here? No. Let me go do that real quick. Like, I'll admit to doing it because I've done it, but I also know how to do the job. But it's like, I don't want to take the time that you could take 3 seconds to answer it.
That's one of my favorite books.
There you go. That's an amazing book. But I don't want to take the time to look it up when I know you have the answer. But here's what we fail to take into consideration sometimes. These people are busy. Your bosses are busy. Your leads are busy. They're doing other work. So they ain't got the time to reach back into their mind space and type out the answer. They're like, go to this site or go to this, whatever page or this client's page or whatever. Go find it. It's there. I know it's there. That's where I found the answer last year. Like, that's where it is.
Right.
And so we get away from that. And real quick, before I let you go, I just want to give a shout out. Chad B, Miss W, Shiny Buttons, Jermaine, Daniel Helma, all these people, CW Infosec, thank you for tuning in. College Kid 865 on Twitch is here just for you, Cyber Reverend.
Oh,
he
yeah?
actually took your course, and I know because he stated it.
Okay.
He has preached about what you do. And so shout out to everybody right now in the chat, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, if you're there. I love you all. Continue to share, comment, subscribe, like all these videos. I just wanted to touch on that real quick because you all are amazing. And Eric was not feeling the love, but just know, Eric, I love you. But go ahead, Cyber Reverend. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just had to get that out there.
No, I was saying I'm going through that now. And listen, you may not know everything. Like you said, you may not know how to do. And you know why I rest that? That nobody knows everything. Everybody doesn't have it all together. Everybody has to find an answer to something. If you stick in that mindset, you do not have to, that comparing stuff, that stuff where you feel like you're inadequate, you're not supposed to be in that seat, that goes out the window when you think that way. And so for me, I'm in a seat where a lot of the stuff is advanced. And what I'm grateful for, and I throw this as a tip, when you guys are looking for jobs, ask this. Do they have a fail-forward environment? What does that mean? Can you learn, make a mistake without having, the pressure of, dude, you better get this right away? Or if they give you a new task, do they have a grace period for you to learn whatever they want you to know, to research whatever they need you to do, because everything, you don't have, there are mental capacities that are there that will stop you from learning when you got that type of pressure on you. Hey, I need this done like ASAP. If you don't know how to do it, then you're going to be stressed out. You're going to quit your job.
Because it's one of those things, just like you said, man. Like the job I have now, I love the company I work for right now. I've had people call me like, hey, I want you to work for this company. No. I'm not leaving. I'm not. And I will say, you will have to make a very lucrative offer for me to even consider interviewing to leave the company I work for.
Right.
And it's because, like you said, fail forward, right? We have the opportunity as a consulting firm where if we're doing something, before we even push anything to a client or tell a client to do anything, we're going to learn it. And guess what? You're going to take the opportunity, set this up in a lab and do it here first before we even tell a client it's possible. Because if we can't do it, or if we're not willing to make the effort to learn it, how are we going to tell a client to go do it? Right. And that's where we are. And I love that about where I work because, dude, I've been working on some projects for the entire year I've fucking been there where I'm just still I'm struggling to figure it out. Right. And it just comes from my weak points where I know I'm weak. And I'm trying to learn it and trying to figure it out. But because it's not necessarily something that I've ever done before, it has taken me longer than probably any computer or programming aspect has ever taken me. But I'm getting it. It's just taking time.
Right.
You're weak, Eric. Get it out of here. Get that out of here.
Listen, if you're feeling like that, people in the chat, people watching at home, man, it's taking me forever to get this. You still belong in the seat. You got that job for a reason. All right. So don't quit your job. Don't be looking for somewhere else to go. Weather the storm, bite down on your knife guard, weather the storm, fix the problem, find a solution to the problem, and document. Because the last thing you want to do is find the answer and don't have it written down.
Document
and then they ask you to do it again.
Man. Everything.
They have you
a blog post, a video, a goddamn GitHub repo, on a goddamn notebook. Document everything.
Document. And I love OneNote.
Let me stop you for a second. Okay, guests out there, if you have a question for Cyber Reverend, Cyber Warrior, myself, Cyber Papa, go ahead and put it in the chat, and I will pop it up here. But Cyber Reverend, continue, please.
Listen, thank you for that. The intercession there. You belong. And my favorite tool is OneNote. Put your notes in OneNote. You can screenshot, add little comments, add little designs. I use it for forensics. I use it for everything. Everybody else hates it, but I love it. Everybody else hates it, but I love it. You know what I'm saying? And take notes. You belong. You belong, y'all. You belong. Don't let that. And if you're a SOC analyst or you just starting, you're gonna be overwhelmed. All right, I was too. And you know what else? And to your statement, Cyber Warrior, somebody was in that same seat that is at the top of the food chain.
Oh yeah.
It took them a while to get there. You know what I'm saying? I rest in that. I put my feet up, knowing that somebody had a much harder time trying to figure the answer out before there was a Google and a YouTube and a Stack Overflow and a Reddit. You know what I'm saying?
But like you said though, and Eric touched on.
Who said that?
We get too scared to say I don't know. One of the first things I did getting out and interviewing with companies was I don't know, but I can find the damn answer.
Look,
I can Google that shit.
I don't feel like I belong sometimes. That's a natural, normal feeling.
Let me address that one too.
Okay.
So CW, we know each other. I'm gonna tell you. You guys know I've been in the field for more than a quarter of a century. Wow, I don't want to say it that way.
Man.
Okay, so I've been in the field a long time. Last week, somebody said something to me and I felt like the biggest imposter in the field. That happens no matter if you're on year 1 or year 32. You will always feel, and the reason for that is because our field is so wide.
Yes.
You can't know everything.
Can't know everything.
You can't know you. I mean, I sit in a room with all these red teamers. Make is right there. You know, these guys know so much. Most of the stuff that I learn is in a freaking museum right now. I started with VAX VMSs and programming on punch cards.
So why aren't you in a museum yet?
It's right here.
I love you.
Hey,
Do it, man. Do it. You belong.
you belong.
Go through it and fail forward.
Listen, on that note of imposter syndrome. Now, I felt like, again, going into new roles, I don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? But I never felt like I didn't belong in that seat. If I didn't belong, they wouldn't have hired me. And so I rest on that premise that I'm here because they're taking a chance or they saw something else that you bring to the table. I don't know everything, but I do know one thing. I know how to make relationships. Not everywhere in cyber, and y'all probably seen this before in your environments. Not everybody knows how to build relationships. You have other tangible skills that make you mesh well with that particular team that you're on. You may not know everything technical. You may only know how to, use Excel. Listen, there's a lot of people I know right now that don't know how to use Excel. I'm just throwing that out there.
Were Microsoft Office 2000 Master Certified.
See, I got a monster.
16 years old, I had my Microsoft Office 2000 Master certification because I literally got certified in every Microsoft program.
Yes.
So yes, that might be the only thing you know, but you can always go up. You can always do better.
You can always go up.
Always learn something new.
There's always, when Kobe Bryant, and I like him. I like Kobe Bryant because he has a lot of good motivational speak. When he got into the field, he wasn't the best. You know what I'm saying? And from there, he had to learn. Like, nobody goes on the court and just kills it. LeBron James, Jordan, all of them. They had to work.
Jordan's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT, but guess what? He had to work for it. He had to work for it.
Jordan ain't never worked for anything. He was always just awesome.
In high school, his coach benched him for a year.
Yep.
Because he didn't have the passion yet.
But again, like you said,
right.
We all got to start somewhere.
Right.
And that's why I cannot stand when people are like, oh, if you don't know this, or this, you don't belong. That's not the fucking case. Get that out of your mindset. Don't let someone even begin to tell you don't belong. Because if you have the willingness to learn, if you have that inkling, that feeling like, I might actually want to learn this, I want to know this.
Right.
And then you continue down that path, it's a goddamn snowball effect.
It's a snowball.
And for those of us in the field that don't specialize, or even if you do specialize, I'm sure you do a lot of the same shit that many of us do. You pick up a book, you start reading it like, I want to learn this, then you see something cool and something new, or you never finish that book, you buy another book and you start reading that, and you see something cool, you're like, hold up, I want to learn how to do this, so you buy another book. I got probably 50 books down here that I ain't never finished, because every time I pick it up, I'm like, hold up, wait, there's something cool I want to do.
Right. It's and you know what else? I've seen that, and I talked to a few people offline. If there's a rule I like to use, and people say, why are you so focused? Why are you so? Because I work with my head down. If you are comparing where you are now to somebody's Eric's 30-year reign, yeah, you're gonna look like, man, I don't belong here. But it's called progress. Behind me is a whiteboard. Guess who can see the whiteboard? Me. If I write down the goals, even short-term goals, even washing dishes, washing clothes, and I put a check mark next to that, you know what that says? I'm making some type of progress. So if you throw that in with your skills, you put that on it, You're seeing your progress. It's when you compare it, and I've seen people do this, and sometimes I've done that in the past where I've compared my progress with like an Eric, 30-year veteran. What's the dude that just got his $10 million evaluation? If I compare my business now, which is year 2, to somebody's year 30, then I'm gonna feel like, oh my goodness, I'm not doing nothing. But really, you're doing something. You studied today. You read a book today. If you even like have like a notepad, a whiteboard, where you're seeing those check marks, you're making progress. You're making progress.
So on that note, is you talked about like doing dishes or something like that,
right?
So there's a lot of times in life, and I do this on occasion, where you don't feel accomplished. You feel like you did nothing for that day.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. So I will give one bit of advice, one little tiny bit. Every morning you wake up and you make your bed. Make your bed. Because then when you go to bed at the end of the night, that bed is made. You did at least one thing. You actually accomplished something. And it makes you feel better because now you're like, hold up, wait, I actually did something.
Right.
So I don't have to feel down on myself. I don't have to feel like I didn't accomplish anything for my day.
Right.
Now, take that same mindset and put it towards learning. What did you research? Just one topic. Find one topic or one news article. Read one thing a day.
Right.
And it can either, if you're done, you're done. If you don't want to do anything else that day, shit, it happens to us all. But you still accomplished something. You still learned something. You still figured something out. You still made progress. And again, it goes to your whiteboard. Put it on I got a whiteboard right next to me that's completely blank right now because I erased it like last month and I ain't putting that on it. But the same concept applies. I do. I'll get on my high horse and be like, this is what I want to accomplish for the year or for the 2 years or for this month or for this day or whatever the case may be.
Well, look, what do you got? Is that what's that?
That's his mind map.
Nice.
So I keep a mind map with all the things that I want to do, and then I break it down into thoughts. And this could be read a book, or this could be this article, or this thing. And I follow this and try to fill the bubbles as I do it.
Right. Man. Hey, can you show me how to write one of those? That looks pretty neat. I've seen that on like a lot of incident response, like mind maps. But I don't want to lose that point, what you just said. There's something I learned, and I don't know if you guys watch Shark Tank. I was a Shark Tank fan. What's that? Oh, you got more. Oh, it's on your website. That's the website?
No, that's all the mind maps.
Oh, my goodness.
I do for myself.
Yeah, let's talk offline because I want to learn how to make one of those. I watch Shark Tank. Shark Tank is there's one of my favorite sharks is what's the man name? Kevin O'Leary. He's more realistic. He'll tell you the truth up front. He's not gonna sugarcoat. He said something that stuck with me at one of his seminars, and he said, "Set realistic expectation." And that has been used by, he said his best sellers, business people have been women because they set realistic expectations. So if I write on my whiteboard, I'm going to have 10 certs this year. Ain't no way in the world I'm going to make 10 certs this year. If I got OSCP, CISSP, all the heavy hitters, ain't no way in the world I'm going to do that. But if I put three months, in 3 months, I've probably at least read through 2 or 3 chapters of Security Plus or looked at a few YouTube videos, CyberWarrior. And let me tell you, and that, I'm going to go in this rabbit hole. CyberWarrior, you helped me with a configuration problem. I looked at your Security Onion videos, and I had a mental breakdown for a little bit. There was something in one of your videos that helped me configure my interface properly. Now I can get traffic. So I just want to give you a shout out on your Security Onion videos and I looked at it 2 weeks ago before my last class, which was last weekend.
And funny enough, I had someone comment, I forgot to put something in promiscuous mode. I'm like, I did not, because there's 2 interfaces. The one is automatically put in promiscuous mode. The other one is a management interface. So I didn't comment back yet, but I'm like, I know I didn't forget that because it worked
No,
for me. So
that's the piece that I needed.
Oh, okay.
Because I have like 5 or 6 interfaces, and I'm like, which one of these am I supposed to? I don't want to monitor my home network. I want to monitor the lab.
Yeah.
And it was that piece in that video that helped me get that down. I think Eric wants to say something.
Here's what I'm going to say. We have a group of people in this community that are all content creators in cybersecurity. You do classes. Cyber Warrior does videos. I do news videos and talk videos. We have CW Infosec that's here that was talking. Great YouTube channel that he has. Alpha Security Cyber, Stack Studio, Cover 6, Ty. We have a lot of
Harley.
different.
Shout out to Tyrone Wilson.
Infinite Login.
Tyrone Wilson. We have a lot of people out here that are putting that. And that, what you just said, is why we do it. Because you might give a class and might give some insight to somebody. You got some insight from one of the Cyber Warrior videos. Yeah. Somebody else might have gotten some insight from CWM, say, or Harley. All these folks, Snubs. We have a lot of people out there that are doing some really good work. So watch that. Research. When you have a problem, go to the, like you said, YouTube site, University.
Yes. And I want to address a comment. Somebody asked, is he really a reverend? I do ministry work outside of cyber. Cyber is my job, but my real passion in life, like you said, you found your purpose. My purpose is reaching people. Yep. So I use cyber as a tool to reach people. And so, yeah, you might see some scriptures or something on my page. And I know a lot of people mute it. A lot of people mute my page, but you might still see it.
Dude, I might steal one of those for Motivation Monday one day. You never know.
Hey,
because at the end of the day, I don't like getting religious on public forums a lot of the time, but my wife's one of my wife's family's best friends is a non-denominational minister.
Okay.
And when I felt like I couldn't go on, when I had issues, when I didn't believe, when I had all these problems, I called him.
You talked to him?
And I was like, yo, dude, like, I'm struggling. I need you to help. And so for me, I get it. Not everybody believes. And I'm not telling you to believe. I will never tell anyone to believe. Right. Look, you do you, boo-boo. Whatever gets you through your day, whatever makes you happy, whatever science or religion or Norse, religion or Greek religion or whatever you want to believe in.
Right.
You do you, boo-boo. Whatever helps you get through life is what's important. And so for me, some of those sayings, some of those stories, some of those scriptures, even though I may not full-heartedly believe it, as far as it being the word, I may still see it as motivation. And that's what I think a lot of people, thank God you weren't, or else we wouldn't have met fucking Carmen, because, we all know Catholic priests aren't allowed to get married, or they're allowed to do other things apparently, but they ain't allowed to get married.
Hey,
I'm an asshole.
Hey, y'all wild on here, man. Hey, you know what? Man, that's amazing. Look, to your point, man. It's about reaching people for me. Yeah, that's my passion. And there's a lot of people that I run into in this field that hurt. They're hurting for something. If I give a word of encouragement to them, and there's dozens of people who come to me with personal problems, and I don't blast it, and I don't let everybody know that I'm helping somebody. I don't put it on blast. But if I have something that will help you, they'll come. If I have something, they'll come. Come to me for some type of advice, and I don't push my belief on anybody. To each his own. You know what I'm saying? But that's my outside of cyber. I'm doing that.
And
I'm doing something like
that, though, because you're reaching to people, regardless of how. Right. It's all about helping others, and that's why I think when me and you started talking about how you are getting people jobs as employees without them being employees,
right?
You're giving them their own business, their own way to go about things.
Yes.
And their own way to find success and find belief in themselves. That was very important to me because when we look at it, everybody is an at-will employer, right? It's you're here at will. You should give 2 weeks notice, but I can fire you tomorrow. Like that, I've never felt comfortable with, but at the same time, that's just the way I've always seen it, and it's the way it's always been done. But the way you're doing things and the way you work with people is a little bit different, where it's start your own business, and I'm going to build your business.
Yes.
I'm not going to build you. I'm not going to pay you. I'm going to pay your organization. And that is something that is of vital importance because it gives somebody something to be proud of. I own my own company now. I own this. I can run with this. Once I learn what I know here, I could take that and I can say, you know what? I don't want to, I don't want my company to be associated with this no more. I want it to be associated with this over here. I want to actually build it. I want to build my brand, build who I am, and all these other things. So what you're doing with that, I think, is something that a lot of people can really, because it does two things. One, it saves the company themselves from having to pay a lot of benefits.
A lot of money and benefits.
Which, I get it. People aren't going to like to hear that, but let's be honest. It's a fact. That shit's expensive right now.
Yeah.
Two, if you take what you're taught and if you start your own company, whether it's a sole proprietorship, an LLC, or a publicly traded company or whatever you want to do, if you start that and build that, hey, there's a lot of tax write-offs that come with it. Go ahead, buy yourself a computer and write that shit off as taxes. Oh, guess what? Your internet too. You can't do that shit if you're working from home and the company says, hey, we're going to give you $20 a month for your internet. Right. It costs you $100. Guess what? They already paid you for it, so you can't write it off no more.
Right.
So you do these things and you can write it off. There's so much you get from it that I love the way you're doing it because yes, they have to go out of their way to maybe buy healthcare, find their own things. But it gives them that opportunity to find what works for them. They are not stuck in what works for you as an organization.
And look, on that note, the reason is because I see a lot of people, and I stay out of these conversations because while the whole Twitter world is fighting with people I don't even know, there's a whole neighborhood full of people getting helped by just listening.
Yep. By
not having to retort a lot and just listening to the right information. Most people, when I grew up, the way I grew up, most people are used to working for somebody else. What's generational wealth? Being able to pass something down to somebody else. So if I was to train people to teach them how to do the work, and let's say if I win a contract, guess who I'm going to hire? The people I've trained. Why? Because they already know how to do what I already told them. But I'm not going to, like you said, I'm not going to hire you as an employee. Let's get your LLC up. Let's get your company up so that I can just pay you straight money that I'm going to have to tip off the side anyway. You're going to work for a company that's going to take the lion's share and pay you pennies. Why not take a nice percentage of change? You pay your own tax. I pay you straight. And you got that. Number one, you have skills. Number two, you have work experience, past performance experience, and you can win your own contracts. Because a lot of these big companies are only making money because you got a cert. I'm going to hire you to do it. Why can't I have that? That's what I think. Why can't I have that contract? Why does it have to go to this person or that company or that company? Why can't I hire? And everybody know this. What they do is they do the same. Big companies do the same thing. They have little companies that they bring in, they raise them up, and they recycle. So for me, why can't I create something like that where this person want to get into cybersecurity? The first thing I tell them, let's start that LLC process. Because before you know it, you're going to know what you need to know. And let's start winning work. Because if I win work and I want to hire you, I don't want you to be an employee. I want you to have your own. Then you can hire your own people. And we won't be seeing posts about, man, the hiring process sucks and people not bringing us on when you got a company who can compete. listen, if everybody in the group, like if the whole Twitterverse decided they all want to come together with their skill sets and make a company together, you'll win the work easily. And I've won that work. I've received work easier than somebody else because relationships, skills, and just being ready. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And so if I can create that generational wealth for somebody, then you hire your own people. You hire your own people.
And that's the big thing you touched on right there. And before we go, we are we're over the top of the hour.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, not your problem. I really don't mind, except for the fact that I need to go get more beer out of my fridge.
Oh, okay.
I do want to touch on, because you said it, generational wealth. And again, it's not a topic normally discussed on here, but it is very important because of the fact that when I started my channel, when I started Scheller Cybersecurity back in 2017 and then disbanded it because I didn't have the time, I didn't have the ability to really market and grow it, mainly because I don't have that. I was kind of mixed on what I wanted to do between training and consulting and all this other stuff. I just couldn't really get it into paper. But with CyberWarriorStudios and what I'm doing here, I take everything as a loss. I mean, shit, I pay this out of my own goddamn paycheck. I don't get paid for this shit. But at the end of the day, it's about building that brand, right? So eventually when that money comes, you look at it, and I can see what I do is I'm helping people and I'm helping others. But generational wealth is I want it something that I can hand down to my kids.
Right.
Whether it's money or an organization, a company, right. Something that is how you build that wealth. That is right. How you're no longer rich. And there's a difference that people don't take into account. There is a difference between rich and being wealthy.
Yeah,
being rich is going broke every paycheck. You have a lot of goddamn money to go buy those jets, but you ain't got shit to hand down to your kids.
Right.
Wealthy, where you truly have all that money that you can hand down and have trust funds and savings and all this other stuff. What'd you say? I
said you're rich here. You're wealthy when you have money.
Yep. And dude, I got plenty of riches in my heart. Between my kids, my wife, and everybody that has reached out and been like, dude, don't stop. Bring back Motivation Mondays, bring back Tech Tuesdays, or bring back, when you come back with Security Happy Hour. Those things matter to me.
Right.
I don't, like I said, and I say this, look, there's a lot of ways you can support me, whether it's merchandise or Patreon or buy me a coffee or, go to donations, go to my website and you can donate on there. There's a lot of different ways you can help. But at the end of the day, that's not what matters. What matters to me is when somebody reaches out and they're like, dude, I got a job. Dude, I got my own channel and I got 50,000 subscribers now. That's an exaggeration. Ain't no one got 50,000 that I know yet, but, they're working on it. They're all better than I am, except for Eric. I don't know what's going on with Eric. He's slacking. Eric Villardo Cyber, head over to that channel.
I'm going to tell you what's going on. So Cyber Reverend, I don't know if you know this, but we have a foundation called Raíces Cyber, which the purpose of that foundation is to bring in more Hispanic, Latinos, Latinas, Latinx, and BIPOC people, our allies, to bring more people into cyber. 4% of the cyber workforce looks like us. Okay. We have a virtual conference coming up in December 4th. Go to this website and register. For everybody out there, register it's free. We have Congressman Lou Correa, who is going to be doing our keynote speech. And we have a list of about 9 awesome speakers. It's on a Saturday, December 4th. Go to the website, click on the top for the conference, and you can register there for the conference. It's free to everybody, please. And come and check us out. We're doing that together. We have a group, and we have a lot of people in the chat right here who are members, volunteers, and that are working. And one of the things that I want to do is want to bring you in for teaching of that stuff for our youth, middle school, high school, college age, transitioning people. So let me know if you want to be part of this, but we would love to have you.
Come on, man. look, I'm not for a particular demographic. I'm for psychographic. Every race needs to know how to read PCAPs. Every race needs to know how to read logs. I'm helping any group that wants help. I look at the world differently than most people.
Hey,
and that's the spiritual side. I look at the world through a different lens than most people. I'm gonna help my people, but I love all people. It doesn't matter the color X, Y, and Z. I especially love your culture. I have some real close friends of mine dear to my heart from Salvador. I love the food they make. I love the culture. And I'm helping them. They're in my class. So, yeah, sign me up. I'll teach anybody. Anybody who want to learn, you can hit me up. And I'm not going to charge you for a conversation. I ain't going to charge you for no consultation. You want to talk to me, we have a conversation. You hit me up and sign me up. Sign me up. I'll teach something.
Is changing the world by creating diversity of thought in cyber. Okay, that's our mom.
Sign me up. I'm for everybody.
We've got the Honorable Lou Correa. We've got Devin Bryan from Carnival. We got Reggie, Frank Carbajal, Jose Moret, Deidre Diamond, Rob Duhart, Felipe Perez, and JC Rivera are going to be speaking at the conference. This is free. Go to the website, click on the register right here. It's an event, right? Go do it.
I'm signing up. I'm signing up right after the podcast. I'm signing up right after the podcast.
But look, guys, hey, it's been a blast. I loved having you. Thank you, everybody, again, once again in chat. And if you're listening to this in audio form on podcast, look, I still love you. If you get the chance, go ahead, watch the video replay on YouTube, just because Twitch only allows me to have so many videos. You can't watch the entire playlist there. And we've had so many amazing people. Next week on Black Friday, I don't know exactly who's going to be on yet, just because I have someone lined up that may or may not be able to do it, but it is going to be special because it is, of course, Black Friday, and I'm off all next week. So I'm going to figure out a way to make some big things happen. I don't care how many people I have on. It could be 10 for all I give a damn. I'm going to have a ton of people on. We're going to figure some shit out. But I do have Security Happy Hour next week. Motivation Mondays coming up on Monday. Tech Tuesday, I'm still working on a lab and getting some things set up. Cyber Reverend, I may hit you up on getting some things set up on that because you've been doing a lot of big things. If you haven't checked out Infosec Unplugged yesterday, I was on there. If you haven't checked out Cyber Reverend and looked at his courses, please head over, look at Max Broad, take a look at what they're doing, taking a look at a lot of big things, and starting your own company and being your own boss and being who you are. Again, shout out to all the creators. Shout out to everybody. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Hit twitter.com/Commandant Bowie and raicescyber.org. And without further ado, send us off, Cyber Reverend.
Can I give some shout outs real quick? I want to get a shout out to the DHS CBP team. I see Justin Johnson in the chat and that crew, my old crew, ETD, CBP, SOC. That's my team. The SASOC, I see Joe Stapleton in there. I see my man from Mandaleo Lab, Pat. Shout out to Pat. That's my man. And I don't see anybody else from my work group, but those are my peoples right there. So shout out to all of y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you for having me, Cyber Warrior, Eric Barato. Sign me up. Sign me up for whatever you got. I'm willing to help.
Gotcha, brother. Hey, have a good one. See you all.
Oh, Jamie. Bye, Jamie. Jamie.